Hello and welcome, everybody, to Heart of the Matter, a broadcast series where survivors come on and share their story, inspiring us to live the healthiest lives we can. I'm Susan Smith, your host. I want to remind everyone that heart disease is the number one killer of women, taking the lives of 1 in 4. I give you these statistics because my guest today is a heart disease survivor. I'm so thrilled to have my friend and heart sister, Robin Olson, with me today. I'm going to introduce her. I'm going to ask her to tell her story and ask her some questions. But first, let me tell you a bit about her. Robin Olson is speaking to us today from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour outside of Philly. She recently retired from her job as a respiratory therapist. She volunteers for Women Heart, the National Coalition of Women with Heart Disease. She became a Women Heart champion in 2015 and currently serves on the board of directors. She says she's married to the best wife ever who supports her in every way, and she has one grown son. Her hobbies include building things. So won't you help me welcome Robin Olson? Hey, Robin, welcome.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to ask you some questions after a bit, but to begin with, I'm going to ask you to tell your story. Would you please share with us your heart story?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So, when I was 46 years old, um, I was having a heart attack, but I didn't know it. I had pain in my left arm for about 3 days. I thought it was a pinched nerve, and I even went to the chiropractor for an adjustment. It didn't seem to really help. That same evening, I had so much pain. I told my son, who had just graduated from college and come home, I had said to him, "You've got to take me to the ER. This pain is so bad, I can't handle it anymore." And this is after 3 days. So we called 911. They came. I went to the ER, and I went to the ER of the hospital I worked in. So I knew everybody in the emergency room. I knew all the people that were going to take care of me. But I thought it was just for pain. But when they came and told me I was having a heart attack, I just didn't know. I'm telling them, no, 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 I am not. A good friend of mine came from the cath lab and said, "You're coming with us." And I'm going, "No, I don't need to go with you." Consequently, I did. They took me to the cath lab, and I ended up with 3 stents, and I would had a significant heart attack. After a couple of days in the hospital, the pain had come back a bit, so back to the cath lab I went, and I got 3 more stents. So within a week, I had 6 stents. Well, this went on and on for the next couple of years. Every few months, I would have pain in my arm, and I would have to go to the ER, and I would get another stent or two. And currently, today, I have 15 stents. I've had bypass surgery, and I was really scared. I was really freaked out about it. And I say the doctors saved my life, but Women Heart saved my soul. And that really helped me understand more about heart disease, and having someone to talk to really, really helped. Um, the things that I've done to change my lifestyle is I've had to give up salt. I no longer eat anything with I don't add salt to anything that I cook, or if I'm out at the restaurant or even ordering fast food fries, I'll tell them no salt. And so cooking, exercise doesn't work so well with me. I try to exercise as much as I can, but um, because of my heart disease, I get so short of breath that walking on a flat is pretty much all that I get to do. But so that's pretty much my heart story.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. You got 15 stents and then bypass surgery in that order?
No, I had 10 stents, 11 stents, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I had 11 stents placed, and then I had to have bypass surgery. And then with the bypass surgery, there was a complication I figured out, or me and my doctors figured out a few months later, because the pain had returned. It's like it never went away. And I ended up having to have two stents put down into my bypass graft to keep it open because it had kinked off. So every time my heart would beat, my graft would do one of these and it would kink. So we had to put a stent in to keep it patent. And
I
then I ended up with 14 and 15 after that.
I
Number
think
15 came after I went to Alaska on vacation.
I think you have the record that I've of people I've known in my life of how many stents. Not that that's any kind of competition we want to enter, but oh my goodness.
No,
Oh my goodness. So you talked about this salt business. I found that one of the hardest things to do. And you can really go to a fast food drive-through and they'll make you French fries without salt.
yes,
I'm
just
going to
tell them
do
no
that.
salt.
Okay,
So
great. Thank you.
that that is something that you be sure to tell them. And if they give you salt, make them do them again. We do that. My wife and I do that all the time because we'll get into the car. They'll give us our fries. We check them. If there's salt on them, we give them back and say, "I asked for no salt." Then they make you go park over there, and then they make a fresh batch of fries with no salt on them, and they would bring them out to you.
You've given me great joy today. I'm going to try that. I love it. Let me
Also,
get
another can I tell you another quick trick about the
sure.
salt?
Yeah.
If you go to a restaurant and, when we're all allowed to go to restaurants again, and you get a baked potato, sometimes they'll smother it in salt, and then they give it to you. Ask them to take the salt off. They will.
I've had those too. That you're absolutely right. Those are great tips. Thank you. I think people are going to appreciate that. Let me get back on track with this question that I was thinking of. I'm curious to know if you had any emotions after your diagnosis. I mean, you told us that you were in disbelief, but what are some emotions you were feeling?
So afterwards, I was scared. I was really scared because I didn't know if I could exercise. I didn't know if what I was going to do was going to hurt my heart. Um, I think I was a couch potato afterwards for a month or so, just being scared, not knowing if what I was going to do was going to cause this to happen again.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think being scared was my biggest emotion. Then there was the whole disbelief. Isn't happening to me. Why did this happen to me? Why does this keep happening to me? There was those kind of questions too, and emotions that I went through. Then I just had to realize that I'm just the lucky one. I don't know.
And that carries its own emotions when you realize you're the lucky one and others are not. But well,
Right.
I like for people to know about everyone's emotions because it's so natural and so normal to have them. The whole scale, the whole gamut of emotions. Um, Let me ask you this. What did you learn about yourself after this event?
I think what I learned the most about myself is I was stronger than I thought. I was stronger as a person. I was stronger as a woman. You know, I and I used to be really afraid to talk in front of people, and now I tell anybody who wants to listen about my heart story. I want everybody to know that this is real. that the thing, for me, part of my problem was hereditary. I didn't know that. People need to learn their family histories more than I did. I didn't pay attention to any of that. I knew my grandmother had heart disease, but I didn't know that it would carry over to me. So those are the things that I learned about myself. And then I also learned that I'm I'm pretty good at what I do to volunteer to help people. I never thought I would be that person,
Yeah.
but I
You do a
feel that
great job with it. You do a
thank you.
great job with that, and I thank you for mentioning genetics and family history. That's so important, and I think many women either don't know, or they knew and they forgot, or they knew and they don't pay attention to it,
Right.
like your example, so thank you for bringing that up. So my last question is this: what advice would you give us women about heart disease?
So the first thing I would tell you about heart disease is one, know your family history. Two, to exercise as much as possible and watch your diet. And as far as I lost the train of thought.
Okay,
Um,
that's alright. You were telling me about, advice you might give women about heart disease, and you mentioned know your family history, exercise, and watch your diet.
right.
Those are all
And know
great.
your body. That was the third one. That was the other one I was thinking of. Know your own body. Know when something isn't right. That's what kept going back to the ER all those months after I had my heart attack and collecting all those stents because I knew something was wrong. I knew that I was short of breath when I shouldn't have been. I knew that that pain was there when it shouldn't have been. So you got to know your own body. You have to be in tune to listening to your body.
Absolutely. I mean, you are the only one that knows this piece of equipment right here,
Right.
and your doctors have degrees in their specialty, and you have a degree in you because you know every bit of it. Well, this is so enlightening and inspiring, and I really appreciate you sharing your story and giving us your insights and your advice. I really do. I'm I'm going to be signing off here in a minute, but I want to thank you again for coming. I want to thank everyone for coming on. And if you stay right there, Robin, you and I can talk after. And for now, I'll say goodbye to the at home audience. Bye,
Right.
everyone. Thanks for coming.